What is going on, comic fam? It's your boy, the Bearded Comic Bro, and I am joined by comic writer H.S. Tack. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on.
I'm excited to talk to you. You are the brains behind the new comic from Scout Comics called RedShift, and that is actually dropping this Wednesday, I believe. Correct?
Yeah, this coming Wednesday, it's going to be out launching.
That's awesome. So I want to hop in. I want to talk about everything about RedShift and just focus in on that. But before I do, I always like to when I bring a creator on, is to find out, how did you get into comics?
Oh, man. How did I get into comics? Man, just, I guess, growing up, we had what I was watching, started watching He-Man, G.I. Joe, Thundercats. I think it was just a natural progression of watching those things, X-Men, Batman, and then, you want more of it. So I'd see them at the newsstand or wherever they were selling them, drugstore, and I'd pick them up and I'd start reading. Yeah. I used to read a lot of Tintin.
Okay.
So I don't know. I've always just been into it.
That's so cool.
Definitely, I took a hiatus. Like once high school, college, yep. Life gets in the way. But then you always come back around, it seems.
That's how it always goes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, because that was the same way. I read it all the time as a kid. X-Men, Batman, the animated series, and high school, college kind of faded away. And then a local shop opened up here, and I fell down a rabbit hole, and here I am.
Where are you? You're in where?
I'm in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, Columbus, Ohio. Okay.
Yep. So, which is really funny because I just got an email from a local shop that the artist on your book that's coming out is doing a signing at one of the shops.
Pack Rat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should go. Brent's awesome, man. Yeah. He lives out on a farm. He does this stuff at night, like burning the midnight oil.
That's so cool. So cool. So, I mean, so I love to hear that, how we get into that love. Well, so what made you decide to start to write comics then for you?
Man, I was, so I have a background in screenwriting, but so I did a master's for screenwriting, and screenplays never went anywhere. So I've been working in film for a while, like production wise. And so I was like, let me think of a way to get these stories out, because you still, at the end of the day, you want to express what you have inside you. So I was just like, let me try and make it. I mean, it's basically like a, pictorial representation of a story. Yeah. So it just was natural.
So, and so I know you did RedShift. I know you did a book with IDW.
Yeah.
What was like that experience of like getting yourself into comics, of like how to get a book started, and
how to get, man, you gotta lie, cheat, steal, do whatever you gotta do, man. IDW was, so I was, like, I had made a comic. I reached out to a bunch, like 50 artists. I found one, a really good one. He liked the story, got it made, found a letter, did all that stuff. And then I was like, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to get this published? So started sending it away into the black holes of like the internet, different publishers. And then someone was like, why don't you go meet these people face to face at these cons? Because, it's someone in a different industry. It was like, that's how it works there. Maybe you can do the same thing. So I started walking cons, just the bigger ones. I should have been going to the smaller ones, because that's where you can actually talk to them face to face and get a little bit more time. But I was at San Diego, and I was running around with my letterer, Janice Chang, who happens to be, I don't know how I got her, but she's really big in the industry. She's done Alpha Flight. She works for Marvel right now. She's awesome. The big time letterer.
Yeah.
And she's like, all right, come here. There's Chris Ryall at IDW, who was the head of IDW at the time. I think he was the CEO or something, or maybe the CCO, Chief Creative Officer.
Yeah.
So she put me in front of him. She's like, hey, Chris, meet this guy, Himkar. And Chris was like, all right, what's up, man? And I was like, here's my book. And I just spit some BS at him. I don't know what I told him. I don't know what I told him. to be honest. And he's like, I think just to get me away, he's like, all right, dude, I got to go to a panel. Here's my card. But I got his card. I think through Janice's intro, I was able to send him the book. The art was phenomenal for
Yeah,
that book. And so he's like, all right, let's do something. Let's make it
that's
work.
cool.
And I was like, awesome.
That's cool.
I think it's lucky. Most of the time, from what I hear, you can't get attention
Yeah,
at cons, but
yeah.
I got lucky with the intro, I think.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's always cool to just hear kind of people's, how it came about. So let's talk about RedShift then a little bit. It's a new book coming out, Scout Comics. If someone hasn't gotten to check out the Ash Can, or and they're going into their shop on Wednesday, and what is the story about? Like, what's the elevator pitch for it?
Oh man, elevator. So right now I'm seeing like reviews starting to peg it as like a family, um, a family type survival space drama,
Okay.
which is pretty cool. I was like, I dig that. That could work, So I'm going to start just biting that, I guess.
Nice.
It's basically about a family out on Mars when Mars has been colonized. And the society works together to send a rocket out into space looking for a new Earth because the resources of Mars are dwindling. And it's causing a lot of social and economical strife, and a lot of civil strife on Mars. So this kid gets chosen. His mom was chosen before him, never came back. No one has ever come back from these. And so he just has to struggle with, should I go on this journey, leave my dad and my little brother, and try and help the planet, or should I just stay home and see what happens,
Yeah.
So that's about it. So it's about a group of explorers that go across into another solar system looking for a new home, while back home on Mars, there's a civil war about to erupt because of resources. Basically, it's still like Earth.
Yeah.
Even though we have so many resources here. Yeah.
it's still about to erupt. So
Yeah.
Well, so where do you kind of get your process with when you're coming up with a story? Is this something that just has been like a couple years in the making, or it was just one of those times you had an idea and you're like, I want to run with this? And
this idea, it's all different. All these ideas are different. Some of them are like that, and some of them come like overnight, and you have the whole story in your head. And this was one of those easier type of stories. But the process of actually getting it to where it is now is probably like a 5-year process, to be honest. Like, it started a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's just a pain in the ass to do comics, man. It's just tough. But it's here now. So let's see what happens on Wednesday.
That's cool. That's exciting. Well, so it is like, and I dug the first issue. I'm so excited for the story. You've got some really cool characters that you've created, and we mentioned briefly before the art. You're connected with Brent is fantastic in this book.
Yeah.
So how do you come about getting your creative team? Is this something that you kind of go pick, or is this kind of like a hodgepodge of people helping pick? Or
yeah, so for boy one, I had to solicit like probably 50 artists, maybe more, 55 artists, like just cold emailing them, and then seeing, maybe you get like 10 of them to respond to you, and then 5 of them you talk to, and then 1 of them you'll get. Brent came through an artist that I know, Zach Howard, who's an awesome artist in his own right, one of the best out there. And so I asked Zach, can he do it? He's too busy, of course, because he's doing a bunch of IDW books and some other books. So he helped me, look around. I think he found Brent somehow on what's that site, man? There's a site where all the artists post their stuff.
Yeah, someone I interviewed one time mentioned it. I forget what it is.
Yeah, I think it's Deviant Art or something.
Okay.
Yeah, so Zach introed me to Brent. Me and Brent hit it off. He just come off doing a Dark Horse book, I think called Bowery Boys, which was like a Western. I don't know if you got the vibe, but I sort of get it in RedShift. It is like a Western out in space. Like the way he draws is very, I don't know, he just draws like pilgrims in space. That's
Yeah,
what it seems to me.
that's a great illustration. Like, the landscaping. Like, if you
Yeah.
take it and look at it, like, a Western, yeah, it's a great illustration.
So he just fit naturally, man. And then Sebastian came through Zach as well, actually.
Okay.
Sebastian Cheng, the colorist. So he's doing a bunch of stuff. He's blown up after, I think Boy One might have been his first book.
Yeah.
So like he was just phenomenal on Boy One, and he's killing it in Redshift. Like
Yeah.
he's just really good. He's doing some Marvel books. He's doing Shang-Chi.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and some bigger DC Marvel stuff now.
Very cool. So, I mean, yeah, the creative team behind this is awesome. You guys have a really cool story. You have a great team behind it, and um, I'm excited to see for people to get a chance to read this because I think they're gonna definitely dig it for sure.
Yeah, me too, man. Let's hope.
So let's talk about Redshift here. Is this kind of a mini series? Do you see this being an ongoing series? Like, how, when you're writing the story, do you have like an end in mind, or do you kind of have we'll see where it takes it kind of mindset?
We're set for 6 issues right now.
Okay.
That's what I'm contracted for. But we've been in discussion to maybe work off some of the other characters and spin it off. Definitely the way it ends, you got to have that ending where you can make like 15 of these, Fast and the Furious 15.
Right.
Right. So I got that, a little bit of that in there too at the end. So let's see how it goes. Depends also, like, work wise. I have some other projects coming up, so
Nice.
we'll see. It should be, this arc will be good, and if I'm sure there'll be more to bite off later.
Awesome. It's always cool to hear. So I know Scout Comic is putting out a lot of stuff. What was it
Yeah.
like trying to get connected with Scout and process and get this book to life? Because you said you made it sound like it was a long process, a 5-year process, kind of doing.
Yeah, because I got rejected everywhere. Everywhere I went, I got rejected. I think what happened, this is the first and only time I've heard of this, where so James and Jim, I think Jim Pruitt, Jim works at Aftershock. James works at Scout. They're twins. So Jim saw the pitch at Aftershock. It wasn't the right fit for them at the time. Like, I was talking to Mike Marks about it, and they liked it, but I think either they had a space book like it, or I don't know whatever it wasn't the right timing. But he told his twin brother who was at Scout, "Yo, check this book out." So the president of Scout called me, or I think he tweeted me, and I was on Twitter, but I'm not really, like, I don't use it that much. I'm more of an Instagram guy. So
Yeah.
I didn't look at it for like months, and months went by, and like probably half a year went by. I didn't look at it, but finally, somehow I connected with, someone connected me to Scout, saying, "Hey, these guys like your book." So then I talked to James Pruitt, and he's like, "Yeah, we want to sign this book." And I was like, "All right, go sign it, man."
So it could have been a little shorter time frame if you would have checked your Twitter.
Yeah. Now I'm checking it like at least every other day.
You're like, all right, is someone want to buy something?
That's too many. So there's too many social medias, man. I gotta start getting on TikTok now.
Right? Yeah, it's like, hey, you can find me on TikTok, on LinkedIn, on it's so many. It's so hard.
There's like, I just saw some publisher the other day that had like at least like 10 on the bottom of their screen, like 10 different like social connections. I was like, damn, man.
I go for it. Good for you if you can grind like that. But
what do you use mainly?
I'm mostly I like Instagram, but I have now become more Twitter, because it seems like a lot of the creators are on Twitter that have been creating comics, and so that's where I've been able to get the most interaction of interacting with people and saying like, hey, I really like your book, would you like to talk with me? And they're like,
yeah, I see. Okay.
So
get on it more.
It's been a very good way. That's how I think I connected with Soda and
Anthony.
Yes, I connected with Anthony, and that's how I kind of was like, got connected of like, oh, I should check out this book, and I was familiar with it with the ash can and stuff like that. So those building some of those connections like that too have been really cool.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I definitely stick more. I mean, I utilize YouTube to promote my videos and stuff like that, but then it's Twitter to, you know, and Instagram are the kind of two. I stay off everything else.
Yeah. Instagram's just easier, man. You just
It
post up.
is. It's really easy.
Go
And
through all the BS of Twitter.
right? Twitter can be overwhelming, especially then when you get like tagged in like 80,000 things. You're like, oh man, what do I do?
And last year was just garbage. I mean, like during the election process and still like,
Yeah.
I didn't want to get on there, man. It was too crazy.
Yeah, it was so hard to filter out through all of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, no, this is junk. So what with RedShift, you've created this world, and we focus a lot on this protagonist. Help me with the name.
Helena.
Okay. Is this going to basically just be following his kind of, I know, background, or are we going to get expanding a lot more? Or
no? So yes. So basically, it's going to expand in issue 2. You're going to meet the other astronaut.
Okay.
And so like they're starting to describe it as a family space survival saga.
Right.
The book, it really is about the 2 brothers, his little brother and him, and how his little brother holds down Mars while he's trying to go figure out what's the next step. How can humans continue on?
Yeah.
So it starts crossing over between the two worlds. So in that way, it's kind of interesting. I didn't want to make it all out in deep space.
Right.
I feel like it needs to be grounded in some way, shape, or form, like, you know, like you're on Earth.
Yeah.
So it does go into different characters, and it'll start opening up in issue 2.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Well, I'm excited for RedShift. Do you have any kind of pre-game rituals that you do, like when you know a book of yours is coming out? Like, do you have routines that you do of like, oh,
I get a bottle of scotch and
that's a great way to go
out, see what happens. Yeah.
It's a great way to go. Have a scotch on hand. So do you have anything else that, I know we're focusing on RedShift, anything else that you got kind of in the works that you can talk about, or anything else that you want to promote? Or
I have a couple stories. So my boy one artist, his name is Amanke Nahopan. He's now doing Justice League Dark with DC.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So I guess I had half a brain. So I was like, dude, after boy one, I was like, let's just do a book together. So I got him, and we have a book coming out that's in the process of getting, publisher.
Okay.
Called Crashland, which is about a little girl who finds a Royal Air Force fighter pilot crashed in the borderlands of Afghanistan and India during 1940s, during the height of World War II. And she's like, that area is very hostile towards the British. Because at the time the British have colonized India, and Afghanistan is like, we don't want to be colonized by India, and they're going to come over here and colonize us. So the super hostile area.
Yeah.
And there's a bounty on his head because they found the wreckage, but they haven't found the pilot. So she finds him out in the mountains, and she's like, if I can get this guy to the border of India, then the British might give me a better life. She's just like it's like Slumdog. She doesn't have a family. She doesn't have a home. She's a beggar. So it's just about their journey to the border through the Silk Road.
Yeah.
In 1940s.
Yeah.
At the height of World War II. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So that's gonna be. So working on a deal for that.
Okay.
And I have another book with a new imprint that's coming out.
Okay.
Through one of the big publishers.
Okay.
The deal isn't like sealed, so I can't. Once it's signed, I can talk about it. But
no, that's fine. I get it. So
that takes place 16th century Japan.
Ooh. All
So
right.
cool little world. Yeah, I got some historical stuff coming.
Nice. I like that. I like that for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but I do want to real quick. If people have been watching, you so graciously sent me an ash can of RedShift.
Oh yeah.
And I realized after you sent it to me that I had one already from Scout. And so what
Yeah,
I
man.
wanted to do is I wanted to share the love. So if you've been watching this video, share it out, like it, go out and buy RedShift. But if you just leave a comment here on this video, I'll randomly choose one person that comments and I'll send you this copy that was sent to me. So
Pay it forward, man.
that's right. Absolutely. Well, how can people, I know we talked a little bit about social media, but how can people follow you and what's the best way for them to stay connected with you to find out all these other books that hopefully are dropping?
Yeah, so the best thing is Instagram. It's at HS Tronic. And I think that's probably the best way. Otherwise, you can, or scout.com, you can get the books.
Yeah.
If you don't find them in your store, you can ask, get the retail, the store to order it from the Diamond. And I think they're doing it through Lunar.
Yeah.
Well,
I think, yeah, they're making a switch at Lunar or something eventually. So
I think they're doing both.
are they? Okay.
Hopefully, yeah.
Nice. Well, very cool. Gang, check out RedShift 1. And I know you're going to have to wait a little bit for RedShift 2 because how Scout has.
Yeah, it's like two months or so.
But that gives you some time. If you like it, tell your friends so that they can get orders for the issue 2 on. But all the links to Scout and to your Instagram are in the description of the video below.
Awesome.
Gang, go check out at your shops this Wednesday. Get RedShift. You're gonna enjoy it, I guarantee you. And with that being said, thank you so much for just taking some time to talk comics with me.
No, man, thank you for having me.
So, all right, gang. Hopefully you can find some time to curl up, grab a book, and nerd out. Peace.